And that's where I want to welcome in Jack Phillips and his attorney, Kristen Wagner. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, so Kristen, if you can, just briefly, just give me the backstory on how this case differed from the one that everyone in the United States heard about, the cake for the gay wedding, and the legal nuances, the differences in both of those cases. Jack ultimately won the first case 7-2 in the United States Supreme Court.
Well, I think the legal principles are the same, but the very day that the Supreme Court agreed to hear Jack's case, on that day, a lawyer, Autumn Scardina, a transgender lawyer, called Jack's shop to essentially set him up and asked him to design a custom, made-to-order cake that would celebrate a gender transition. That cake was supposed to have blue on the outside and pink on the inside. Jack respectfully declined to design that cake and obviously would sell anything else in his store. A few weeks later, that lawyer called back and asked for another cake, this time asking for a cake that would celebrate Satan's birthday. Astonishingly, 24 days after we won the case where the Supreme Court rebuked the Colorado Commission for its religious hostility towards Jack, that same commission decided to go with this setup by Autumn Scardina and pursue Jack again. They doubled down on their hostility, and instead, we filed a lawsuit in federal court.
Now, this is just mind-blowing to me that in the United States of America, a business owner can be forced to do anything. That a business owner with religious convictions has to go through what Jack has gone through. I mean, this has to be into the high 6, low 7 figures in terms of legal fees on both sides, correct?
Well, we provide our services free of charge. We believe that this principle is so fundamental to all Americans, no matter what your beliefs are on marriage or any other issue.
Right.
This is about whether creative professionals have free speech rights under the First Amendment, and we need to preserve that freedom.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it. I think you're doing outstanding work. All right, Jack, how has this affected your business in the long term? You built a successful business. People were calling you. They were coming to you to make these custom cakes. You clearly were very good at what you do. How has this affected that?
Well, it's affected in many ways, but first of all, I just want to make sure that it's understood that I welcome everybody and I serve everybody who comes into my shop. I just don't create every message that people ask me to create.
Jack, that's important, though. I want to stop you there because it's important. You're not saying that if a gay person came into your shop, you wouldn't sell them cakes on the shelf. Your objection was having to create something custom that contradicted your religious beliefs. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I serve everybody who comes in my shop. I welcome everybody. We have a pretty diverse clientele that is in our area, and I welcome and serve them all. I just don't create every message that people ask me to create.
So, but if that was your standard
in question, like,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Jack.
The question of this cake, like Kristen was saying, was a custom cake, and it was pink on the outside and blue on the inside, specifically to signify the gender transition from male to female. And I would welcome the Scardina into our shop at any time and create any other product, and we told them that.
Order that comes in the door. Did the Supreme Court consider that, or did they rule solely on the religious liberty aspect of this?
Well, they touched on not only the religious liberty aspect, but also the free speech aspect. That these are creative professionals and they're being asked to create artistic expression. But I do think it's important to go back on the religious liberty interest. The Supreme Court found that governments cannot target people because of their views on issues, including issues like marriage, where reasonable people disagree. And it explicitly condemned the commission for statements comparing Jack's beliefs to despicable pieces of rhetoric, comparing his religious beliefs to perpetrators of the Holocaust. And what's astonishing about this second case was that the commission doubled down on that hostility and embraced those statements again, even after the Supreme Court had rebuked them.
You know what concerns me with cases like this, and really I want to get both of your opinions. I believe, and maybe I'm just a cynic, look, I admit my bias, I'm a conservative commentator, but I believe that if Jack's store, if Masterpiece Cake Shop had a blanket policy of no special orders, they probably, the politically correct leftists in government, might have still come down on him for refusing to service what they consider to be one of their sacred cow, their protected classes, whether it be a certain race, a certain religion, a certain sexual orientation. Was that the sense either of you got dealing with the state of Colorado?
Well, there's certainly the sense that this is about ideology. It's not about allowing people to have freedom on both sides of the debate. It's about crushing and ruining people because of their beliefs. We have cases right now in other states where artists are facing actual jail time if they disagree on this issue of marriage and don't agree to celebrate events that violate their convictions. And I think Jack can tell you about over 25 years in his shop, he has declined all kinds of different cakes for different reasons because of those messages, and yet none of those have caused a problem. Only these two did.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. There are certain
It's always about the message of the cake.
I'm sorry, Jack, say that one more time.
It's always about the message of the cake. It's never about the person asking for the cake.
Right.
With the first cake, we specifically told the two gentlemen that we'll sell you anything else in the showcase, any other products, but this is one that I couldn't make. The same thing with Scardina.
Well, that's interesting, though.
This cake is portraying, not the person asking for the cake.
That's a very different narrative.
We serve everybody.
Yeah, very different narrative than the mainstream media portrayed, Jack. They made it seem as if you absolutely refused to service the individuals. They never told this nuanced story of, nope, it was just a special order. If they would have come in and bought something off the shelf, not a problem. Now, let me ask you, we've heard about the negative effect to your business. Have you received any support from the community?
We have. We received a great deal of support. People realize how important this case and these issues are, and they try and support us in various ways, and we're grateful for that.
So where does your business go from here, Jack?
Well, now after 7 years almost of being harassed by the state, this case is over and we're thrilled with the results. We have to wait and see how things work out, but now we're able to hopefully get back to the business that I started 25 years ago, serving everybody and creating works of art that are edible, that are cakes.
Is the store currently open? Is Masterpiece Cake Shop open and operating as a business right now?
Yes.
Oh, it is? Okay. Good. And right. Kristen, how about you? Are you going to be taking on more of these cases?
Well, we have cases right now in the appellate court system involving filmmakers, hand painters, calligraphers, graphic design artists, and we need to see this through because no American should be forced to express a message that violates their core convictions. And it, again, doesn't matter which side of the debate you're on. We all should have the constitutional right to be able to speak freely and to not speak when we don't believe something, and that's what's at issue in these cases.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I don't think any business anywhere should be forced to do anything. And as we as consumers, we can choose to patronize them or not patronize them. I'm a big believer in the free market, and I'm a big believer in property rights, First Amendment rights, and really in religious liberty. I think we've gotten far away from it. I'm thrilled that you prevailed. Kristen, great work on your part. I'm very glad there are people out there like you doing that. Jack Phillips, Kristen Wagner, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you
for having us.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for breaking news and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, then share it with your friends. Remember, you can watch Newsmax TV live on YouTube. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.